Welcome to the J.R. Hendrick Texan Night, a podcast that deals with the early life of yours truly. Here to deal with the Catfish King and his ailing son, J.R. Hendrick. The 7th of March passed quietly. On the 8th of March, 4 a.m. Eastern, Jim wakes up early. He goes into the master bathroom to brush his teeth, mouthwash, and shave. He always gave himself military facial shaves that didn't include the 5 o'clock shadow. The only time he had a beard, which is well trimmed, was back in the 1980s when he was pursuing a career managing the music business in Nashville. 5 a.m. Eastern. In Washington, Jim goes downstairs to the basement swimming pool, which had a window to view the outside. He swam there for about an hour. 6 a.m. Eastern. Jim changes into some jogging outfit and goes straight into the home gym to lift weights and go on the stationary bike until 7 a.m. 5 a.m. Eastern. JR wakes up suffering from some nausea, some muscle aches, and some stomach cramps. This morning, he was going to be having a small breakfast off campus with his Aunt Donna. He would then go off to government class and then to West Hall to take his geology midterm. 7 a.m. Eastern. At the ranch, the telephone rang. Elizabeth answers it and then calls for Christine. "Christine! Telephone! Your daddy!" Elizabeth said. "What's up, dork?" Christine asked. "You getting ready for school?" "Gracie said you missed the bus yesterday," Jim said. "I just got up and started dressing. I'm taking pancakes with almond butter. Mama's good almond butter." "All right, just be sure when that bus comes, you hop on that dang thing." Jim goes downstairs into the wet sauna for about 20 minutes before his valet, Jacob, brought his Armani suit for him to dress quickly and then hop into the Chrysler to drive to the White House. 7:15 a.m. Eastern. Jacob came in early to help Jim dress. They rushed him into the Chrysler van and headed off to the White House. 8 a.m. Eastern. Jim arrives at the White House to submit his new White House pass to the Secret Service and is escorted to the West Wing, where he is greeted by Harold Ickes, Deputy Chief of Staff. In his office, Ickes informed him of the transition and how the day would go forth. The President would be too busy to execute the oath of office. The oath would be administered by Vice President Al Gore. 7:10 a.m. Eastern. Meanwhile, JR is at Denny's having boiled eggs and toast and Sprite with Aunt Donna. 8:25 a.m. Eastern. Jim arrives at the Small Business Administration, Washington, D.C. Christine Farrar, Deputy Administrator for Public Liaison, showed Jim to his fourth floor office. A plush room with its Lockheed Lounge bookshelf desk with executive chairs, Dell laptop, halogen light, and Bose stereo. His secretary from Odessa, Lucinda, decided to stay behind. So, he called on his assistant secretary of Claudia Crabtree, and assistant Jeff Border to sit in as secretaries. 8 a.m. Central. In government class, Professor Wild was currently presenting in New Haven, Connecticut at Yale University. So Dr. Andrew Harmon delivered the message about government and public affairs. 19:15 a.m. Central. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Mary Henry, Jim's mother, decided to fly Kyle and Madison to Jim's swearing-in ceremony. And the regularly scheduled program was being resulted from President Clinton's announcing Lloyd Cutler as White House counsel. Elizabeth goes upstairs listening to a 1950 Hank Snow song. 10:50 a.m. Eastern. Jim is sitting in his new office when his mother wheeled in. "Mama, what the heck are you doing here?" Jim asked. "Now, that's no way to talk to your mother," Mary said. "Called your wife Betsy. Chartered a jet to bring down Kyle and his beautiful young bride." Swearing's ends at the house side of the Capitol, Mama, Jim said. "I'll get the Chrysler and take us there." "Thank you." Having around D.C. in a cab ain't fun. Meanwhile, Jar is in West Hall taking his geology midterm. His muscles are aching terribly, and he's having dry heaves. 12 p.m. Eastern. At the Capitol Hill courtroom, Vice President Al Gore welcomes Jim, Betsy, Mary Hendrick, Kyle, and Madison. It's more than a cliche to say that small business is the lifeblood of the economy, the heart of the American dream, leading to a brighter future, especially under President Clinton. Jim started his own oil company, traded precious metals, and made his way through entertainment before becoming a powerful oil tycoon. Jim Hendrick and his family, President Clinton asked you to serve your country in the SBA. President Clinton has absolute confidence in you. Thank you for stepping in at this time. And now, the family will step up, Vice President Gore said. Place your left hand on the Bible, raise your right hand. and repeat after me. I, James Ryan Hendrick, do solemnly swear. I, James Ryan Hendrick, do solemnly swear, Jim said, that I will defend the Constitution of the United States. That I will defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. And I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I take this obligation freely. That I take this obligation freely. Without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. And without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. And I will faithfully execute the duties of the office upon which I am about to enter. And I will faithfully execute the duties of the office upon which I am about to enter. So help me God, Vice President Gore said. So help me God, Jim said. The room breaks out in thunderous applause as Jim signs his certificate of office with Betsy and his mother, Mary, at his side. Meanwhile, in his dorm room, JR is listening to his father swearing in on the Andrew House show, making this pronouncement. This is a momentous time. A conservative... Okay, that's the Andrew House. This is a momentous time. A conservative has foxed his way into the chicken coop of the Clinton administration. Let the fireworks begin, Andrew House said. The group moved quickly into the White House State Dining Room, where lunch for Jim and Betsy and the family was catfish, fried potatoes, coleslaw, spinach, and brownies. 1:50 p.m. Eastern. Back in his office, Jim ducked from some questions by the liberal press. He goes into his office. He opens a can of Heineken. He starts drinking because after the lunch, his mother told him that she was expecting him to answer to the press today. Jim was not ready for that. 1:10 p.m. Central. Meanwhile, as his newly installed father is drinking his troubles away, JR is composing fact sheets about the Clinton crime bill for Congressman Bill Sophoulis. This assignment was given to him by Dr. George Williams, psychology professor, who was assistant director to the Center for Public Affairs. 3:50 p.m. Meanwhile, in Washington, D.C., Jim is in his new office, writing on his Dell laptop his speech to the Small Business Administration tomorrow at noon. He takes a huge debonair cigarette and leans back, smoking in the flavor, and lets in the flavor and letting a huge puff of smoke permeate the office. Hey, Clinton, political boy, can't get rid of me. You've been tortured